My name is Jesus Barrios, born in Tijuana, Mexico, raised in Southern California. I'm undocumented. I identify as queer, and I'm a member of the Immigrant Youth Coalition in the Inland Empire.
The Immigrant Youth Coalition is a coalition of undocumented students, community members, immigrants, high school students that work to empower other immigrant youth so they can fight for their rights, to empower the community so they can stand up and fight at the local level against policies that target people of color.
The primary goals of the Immigrant Youth Coalition in the Inland Empire is to empower undocumented youth in our region, to help them create their own voice, to allow them to speak on their behalves in their communities, at home, or any space they're involved with. So as undocumented youth and as a little kid growing up, I didn't really analyze what it meant to be undocumented. I was just going to school, playing with my friends, right? But it's as time went by and the years passed, you go through life experiences that allow you to comprehend what it means to be undocumented and the situation you're in. And for me, that first experience was my grandpa passing away and not being able to attend his funeral in Mexico. And I think a lot of undocumented people go through that, and it's an experience that many can probably relate to. I can remember being 14 years old and my mom waking us up in the morning and in tears telling us that she's decided that she's going to attend his funeral and be with her family that day. She didn't want us to go and to not worry. She left, and then as time settled, we started to realize, my mom just left, who's an undocumented person, to Mexico. There's a chance of her not coming back and us ever seeing her again. Queer, undocumented, and unafraid has several meanings for, I guess, different type of people. For me personally, it means that I've removed myself from the shadows of fear, a feeling of embarrassment and shame that was constructed in me all my life. And it means I no longer have to live my life the way people have told me to live.
For me personally, coming out was something that it was most my parents found out. But having to live on my own, getting kicked out of my house at a young age, it just, put me in a place where I had to struggle, and I was staying here and there. Really, really funny, because it's you have to come out as a queer person, and then you have to come out as undocumented, and seeing that within our communities there are a lot of there's a lot of stigmas with being queer, and even when there's been conferences, or gatherings, there, you always hear negative things about being queer, or people joking about it. And to us it's been really important to talk about that and put it out there that it's not right, and having and giving that time to talk about being queer and the importance of it. It's telling people in the community that they are fighting for immigrant rights, but at the end they're oppressing us for being queer, yet we're in the same struggle. I think that for me, a more humane society would be that, we are living two struggles. We know that there's a lot of stigmas within our own community about being part of the LGBTQ community, and I think it's really important for me as an activist to let our communities know that there are kids who are, for example, committing suicide, that there's not that willpower in a lot of people to continue fighting for their rights, but at the end of the day we're fighting the same struggle. And to me, just living in a society where we can live amongst each other without having that racism, that homophobia that we face every day.
For me, a more humane society would be a place where you don't have to be afraid to do things that most of the population can do without fear. For example, you know, being able to be open with your friends about who you like, or ever having that awkward, you know, when they assume that you're straight and then they ask you, so do you have a girlfriend? And then that just kind of, that feeling you get, no one should have to live with that shame, embarrassment, and fear that with their own friends, even with their own families. So I think being free of that and just being who we are, how we were born, and just being able to express ourselves in the many ways that, you know, people come. And so I think that would be, for me, a humane world.
For me, a more humane society or environment would have to be one where we're living our lives amongst each other in peace, not having to be questioned or having to explain ourselves, right? In a perfect world, I see the next youth or the next generation of youth not having to have to explain to their parents that they're gay or come out to them. So yeah, just living our life in peace, people treating each other with dignity and respect.